Hello everybody, Nathaniel from RC Insight here, and as I promised in my top 10 best LEGO sets of 2023 video, we are going to be taking a look at the top 10 worst LEGO sets of 2023 in this video. Now, there were not nearly as many to choose from as there were for the best sets. There are certainly a lot less bad sets that came out in 2023 than there were good ones, and so this was actually quite a bit easier of a list to put together. However, I think there are 10 sets where LEGO just really missed the mark. They just weren't quite up to snuff for whatever reason. Whether that just be an insane price point and price to piece ratio, a set that just frankly looks bad, or something that's totally unnecessary, or maybe even just a set that had a lot of expectations and the reality just failed to meet them. That's kind of how I've tackled this list. So, these sets aren't necessarily terrible, or at least most of them aren't terrible, but I do think they are the sets where LEGO most missed the mark in 2023. With that out of the way, let's not waste any more time with this intro and jump straight into the ranking. And as always, this is a very subjective list, so let me know what your worst 10 LEGO sets of 2023 are in the comments down below. I'd love to know which ones you think weren't very good and which ones did not live up to your expectations. For me, coming in at number 10 is a set that's actually a really nice build. It just has one thing going against it, and that is the price tag. It's the Leebur Crawler Crane LR 13,000. This is an absolutely gorgeous Technic model, if we're being completely honest here, but at 2,800 pieces and a whopping 700 USD, 900 Canadian price tag, the 30 cents per piece ratio, no matter how nice this set is, no matter how huge it is, no matter all the functions in it, just seems wholly unjustified. I mean, to me, this is a new level of outrageously overpriced LEGO. We have had expensive sets, and sets that especially feel expensive in Canada because of the exchange rate. But never have I seen a set of this scale go anywhere near this 30 cents per piece ratio. I mean, that is just bonkers expensive. And so, yeah, at over 30 cents a piece in Canada, this one gets credit for being a nice build, but the price is just so insane. I knew it had to be on this list, and because it's still a good build, that's why I've let it drop all the way to number 10. At number 9, we have the LEGO Icons of Play, and this is an interesting set. A little overpriced and, not that interesting, I guess. It's just a weird LEGO set, in my opinion. It's maybe not bad, but it's definitely not good, and I would not find myself spending 130 Canadian or 100 USD on this 800 piece half soccer pitch set with some weird stands and I don't know, it feels almost like old school LEGO, but in a bad way, like old school sort of design, but no studs to make it feel like LEGO, and just really weird components. I can't really see you displaying a set like this. It's not really fun to play with. Add in some controversy around the minifigures they chose. I mean, I couldn't care less personally. I'm not much of a soccer/football fan to begin with, but there was some controversy there too. And this just seems like a set that was supposed to be a celebration of US women's soccer, and it came at the worst time, and it didn't help that it was not a great looking set either. Just a miss from LEGO. At number 8, I have the LEGO Ninjago Imperium Dragon Hunter Hound, and this is kind of like a set that I really dislike, but it's also just sort of bundled in with LEGO Ninjago as a whole, and I wanted to pick one set to sort of represent that because I thought this was a pretty weak year for LEGO Ninjago. Now, it's well known at this point that I really don't like mechs, and talk about a mech heavy theme, especially the January wave, just so mech heavy. A lot of sets that just didn't appeal to me, and I think this is the worst of the bunch. So it's kind of a combination of a bad set and just what I thought was a bad wave for this theme this year. Some of you are probably going to vehemently disagree with this, but yeah, this Imperium Dragon Hunter Hound is by far the worst of the batch. I mean, it's a weird looking set. The dimensions look off. It does not look like much of anything, to be honest. Like it's skinny, it's weird. it looks off. That's the only way I can describe it. It looks off, and I felt this from day one. Animal builds have grown on me in recent years. I really used to not like them at all, but this is just an all-around miss. I mean, who would want to display this? And it doesn't seem like it has much play ability either. I don't know. This one does not work in my opinion, and it's the worst set out of what I thought was a pretty bad year for Ninjago in general, and so that's why I have put this one on the list. Coming in at number 7 is a gift with purchase set. You might say, well, that's a weird choice, and maybe it is, but it's the LEGO City 4x4 Off-Road Ambulance set. This is a set that I honestly irrationally hate. And I mean, I hate it. And it really comes down to, I did a review for this that I didn't even end up putting out because I just didn't think it was worth it. But the build itself is fine. It's actually a nice build, if we're being honest. I think it looks good. The design of this build is quite nice. The emergency / like ambulance paramedic color scheme that LEGO has switched to for LEGO City, with the neon yellow, teal, white, and then throw in like blacks and grays in there as well. It's a mess and it looks awful. And this is the worst example of all of them that have come out this year. And so that is why it makes the list. Maybe it doesn't deserve it, but I just despise this set with a passion. It's like they took something that was actually good, a good build, and they just ruined it. They sabotaged it. They destroyed it with a terrible color palette. And I think that's why it makes me like it even less, is because this is not just a mediocre set. It's actually a set that could have been a really good set. And the aesthetic choices here just absolutely ruined it. And yeah, for that reason, it makes this list. At number 6, we have a LEGO Star Wars set, Chewbaca. Now, this is a set that is a combination of just completely unnecessary and kind of unnerving. I mean, his face just looks weird. Let's be real here. His face just looks weird. It's a weird set to begin with. It's a weird display piece. And when you throw in the fact that it's like over 2,000 pieces and like $300 something like that, I don't know exactly how much it is. It's just an odd choice for a set. It's maybe not what I would think of as bad concept-wise, but the execution is lacking. It kind of makes me think of like last year's Black Panther bust set that was a huge like 4,000 piece set or whatever it was, and you just go, why is this necessary? I just don't know who wants a 2,000 piece brick built Chewbacca that looks kind of unsettling. I don't have much else to say for this one. Weird set, makes me a little uncomfortable to look at. No one was really asking for it, and so yeah, definitely not one of the better sets to come out in 2023. Coming in at number 5 is a LEGO art set. Originally, I had this a little higher on the list, but to be fair to it, I dropped it to number 5. It's the LEGO modern art set, and it's modern art. What can I say? It's not for me. That's pretty much it. I mean, I can see what they were going for, and I like how LEGO art has kind of expanded what the theme is this year, and so I wanted to give them a little bit of a credit for that, because concept-wise, I think this is at least not a bad idea, and I like how the line of products from LEGO art has changed and become much more dynamic, and this is part of that, so it gets a little bit of credit. But as Tiago said in his review, it just doesn't work. It doesn't work. It's for some people who are modern art enthusiasts, maybe they love it. It is totally abstract. It has no rhyme or reason to it, like modern art. So if that appeals to you, then this might be a great set, but it is just too abstract even for me. There's also a weird clash of colors going on here. There is some ability to change its appearance and stuff, but I really don't know that you could do anything to save this unless you just replace the bricks with different colors and a different, more coherent design. That's my take. It is definitely modern art, so they certainly achieved making the set they set out to make. There's no question of that. I just don't like it. I think it's a bad set. It's way too abstract. It's way too all over the place. And I think a lot of people will feel the same. So that's why it makes the list. Coming in at number 4, we have our second LEGO City entry to this list. It's the LEGO City Dunk Stunt Ramp Challenge. And much like the Ninjago pick, this is maybe what I feel to be the worst of just a bad wave of sets, and that being the LEGO Stunts sets. I thought the first wave of Stunts was pretty good. The second wave of Stunts was okay. This third wave of Stunts is abysmal. Not only does it not give you anything interesting, it's ridiculously overpriced. Now, this set in itself really has nothing that appeals to me at all. Add in that over 30 cents per price to piece ratio, which is insane. It's not at all worth it. But what is equally bad is the loop set that came out this year that has like 300 pieces and is well over $100. I mean, both of them are really bad. That other one at least kind of looks cool, putting aside the absolutely awful price point. This one has the same awful price point. It just doesn't feel as bad because it's a way smaller set, but it's also a way worse set. So yeah, this is kind of like a bash on the Lego City Stunts sub-theme as a whole, for this year at least, but also this is just a bad set. It's pretty simple. Coming in at number 3, I have another set that you might say I have an irrational hatred for. It is a Brickhead set, the Lego Lord of the Rings, Frodo and Gollum. Now, I already know there are lots of mixed opinions on Brickheads. There's a lot of people who just really don't like them, and there was a lot of frustration at the start of 2023 when Lego revived the Lord of the Rings theme but only released Brickhead sets. It was like, oh, come on, you gotta be able to do more than this. Of course, we got Rivendell later, which was the best set of 2023, so hard to complain as a Lord of the Rings fan, but that doesn't mean that these Brickhead sets get a pass, and this is coming from someone who doesn't actually hate Brickheads all that much. This set, however, is awful. Gollum looks terrible. I mean, he has nothing. He's a cube. He's 2 flat cubes, a cube on top of a cube. His torso's a cube, his head's a cube. No depth, no texture, no color, no nothing. He's awful. And Frodo is hardly any better. I mean, his face is flat. What's his hair doing? I know all Brickhead's faces are flat, but like the way his hair, it just is bad. It looks bad. It looks bad. It's as simple as that. I'm looking at it right here on my computer screen. It looks bad. There's no way around it. The Gandalf and Balrog set is great. Aragorn and Arwen set, okay. This one, terrible, terrible, terrible. I don't like it at all. I have it. I don't like it at all. It's just not a good set. Do I need to say more about why it sucks? I don't think so. Okay, on to number 2. All right, and if things look different, that is because it is several days later now for reasons. But getting into our number 2 on the list, we have the Lego Ideas BTS Dynamite set. Now, I know there are a ton of BTS fans out there, so I'm hoping I don't offend you in saying that this is just an awful set. So this is an 18+ Lego Ideas set. This is a Lego for adults set, and well, if you look at it, it looks like a set from the early 2000s, if not the 90s, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. Some of those old Lego sets have some charm to them, but it's like a Lego City set at best, studs everywhere, basic walls. I mean, it were like minimal interiors. This is not an 18+ set. It's definitely not an $100+ set in my eyes. It is simple, it is basic, and it looks old and dated from the day of release. It's just a miss. It is really not a good set. I don't know what else to say about it. I mean, the 18+ label just feels so undeserved. 30 or 40 years ago, this would have been cool. Nowadays, it just feels like a set out of its time. Old sets have a charm to them for sure, but the charm comes from how they've aged, not the way they're built. And so this is just a big swing and a miss from Lego. And for the longest time, I thought it would have been the worst of the year, but another set has swooped in to take the cake. And before we talk about what that set is, let's get into some honorable mentions. I just have a few honorable mentions here. These are sets that are, well, definitely ones that disappointed. They didn't live up to expectations. They're not that great. Maybe they're overpriced or whatever, but they aren't quite bad enough to make this overall top 10 list. And so the honorable mentions for the worst sets of the year go to the Lego Jurassic Park Visitor Center, the Lego Star Wars Endor Speeder Chase Diorama, the Lego Disney Peter Pan and Wendy set, and the Lego Orient Express. And I feel like I just need a little bit of an explanation for this Orient Express set, because the Orient Express is a really nice looking set, but the Lego Ideas submission was just so much better. And really, like, frankly, it's been completely neutered in the version that we get from the LEGO Ideas line officially, not to mention a hefty price tag at $380 in Canada for 2,500 pieces, both not living up to that gorgeous original design and also being extremely overpriced. I thought it's too good of a set to make the top 10 worst of the year, but it definitely deserved an honorable mention because, well, it was not great. So then, what is my number one worst set of the year? If it's not the BTS Dynamite set, well, what else could it possibly be? Well, it is a set that itself is a failure, and it accompanies something that is a historic failure on its own. That set is the LEGO Marvels The Hoopty set. Now, the Marvels film was a box office flop for the ages, and, well, this LEGO set was not doing it any favors. Not only does the Hoopty just kind of look bizarre, at 400 pieces and over $90 in Canada, it is insanely overpriced. I mean, it is ridiculously overpriced for a set that looks not great from a movie that is, well, one of the greatest Disney failures of all time. This set just has nothing going for it. I mean, put aside the horrible failure that the movie was, the set itself really isn't any good either. You just combine all those factors and, well, I think it's only fitting that the Hoopty gets the number one worst set of the year. It's just, frankly, even if it wasn't bad, it's a set that no one cares about. And when it's a set that no one cares about, that is bad, and then is extremely overpriced on top of all of that, yeah, that is a recipe for disaster and fully deserving of the title of Worst LEGO Set of 2023. Of course, let me know what you guys think your worst LEGO sets of 2023 are in the comments down below. I'd love to hear your list. How do you feel about mine? Do you agree with these sets or not? If you like this video, leave a like down below as well. It's a great way for you to show your support. Let me know that you guys like this kind of content. Subscribe for more videos like this. I do LEGO news videos, all sorts of LEGO content on my channel. So if that interests you, please do go check it out and subscribe so you do not miss those videos when they come out. And with all that said, well, I want to just thank you so much for watching this video, guys. Thank you for the amazing 2023. These are the worst LEGO sets of 2023, and this was quite honestly a fun video to put together. So I'll leave it at that. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.